Hello everyone, it's Steve with Aptera Owners Club. Okay, so let's start going through this investor webinar together. We'll break it up in parts. There's a lot of things to talk about. So we're gonna go through it kind of slide by slide.
Ooh, that's a pretty building. Look at all those pretty Apteras out front. We have over 47,000 reservations for the Aptera now. It's incredible to think back to just a couple years ago when we had the launch video. We took Noir downtown and shot a little bit of footage way too late in the afternoon on a Friday. But we put out that video, and in just a couple weeks we had 4,000 or 5,000 orders. So we knew that this was going to be big time. But you know, we steadily increase those orders, and every day we get more and more orders, and it's just amazing to see how many people are supporting what we're doing.
Okay, so 47,000 orders. I feel like that number has kind of leveled off. I kind of looked back through the videos to see where I could find that, but I think they were quoting like 46,000 reservations like a year ago is what we were looking at, and it's kind of leveled off in the past year. If anyone remembers differently, please let me know in the comments below. The best I could find was this is from the December 2022 Ambassador webinar highlights. If you look at this, in early 2022, they had 15,000 reservations. You can't see it here, but it was 39,000 reservations at the end of 2022. So we were at 39. So there was a rapid growth rate in reservations during 2022 from 15 to almost 40,000 reservations. And then from 2022 to now, which is a year and a half, roughly a year and a half, it's gone from about almost 40,000 to 47,000. So 7,000, an increase in reservations of 7,000 over a 18-month period. Whereas back in 2022, we had a like 9,000 or 8,000, over 8,000 reservation increase in 3 months. So that has definitely leveled off. And I think that says a couple of things. One, this may be kind of like the early market saturation for the Aptera. This is the number of people that are interested in a vehicle like this that have heard of it. Now, there's a large portion of the population that has not heard of it. But this is that. Or I think this is also very likely, is that there is a much larger group of people that are interested in the Aptera, but they're holding off on putting in reservations until they see a production car. They're like, hey, this is an interesting idea. I find it fascinating. I don't know if they're gonna make it. We haven't seen the production car yet, and I don't know the final price on it. So I'm gonna just kind of bide my time and wait until the reservations before I put down a reservation. And also, like, you know, I have a referral link in each of my videos. You know, you can get like $30 off. So in like 2022, that number was going up like weekly. And for me, that number of referrals has basically like flatlined over the past year. So I think that's I mean, from my personal experience of my own referral code, I think that lines up with my impression that this has kind of leveled off. So I think the leveling off is mainly a function of a bunch of people that are interested in it and are holding off until they see a production car and they know the final price. And of course, it is a niche vehicle. It isn't going to be a mass market vehicle. But I think right now that reservation number is not a big problem, because like they're not going to be able to make 47,000 vehicles anytime soon. They're going to be, again, I've said this for years, they are production limited, not demand limited. The demand limiting may happen, but I don't think it's going to happen for a while, because once people see these and if they see them on the road and they're known to be a reliable vehicle, and the price is similar to what they're saying now, at the current price point of 26 to 44,000, the number of reservations is going to skyrocket as soon as they see these things start being on the road. My guess is that if that happens, you're going to see these reservations pushing 100,000. as soon as a large number of production vehicles hit the road. So I don't think that demand is a problem, but it has leveled off, and I think that points to a kind of fatigue in terms of the people, in terms of they're waiting for this thing, and they're like, hey, I'm not going to put down a reservations until I see it. We've been talking about these things for a couple of years, and we want to see the vehicle that we're going to have, and we want to kind of get a nailed down price for it. And I think that's what we're looking at.
That totals about $1.7 billion in potential revenue off of those orders. So incredible potential. We'd love to be able to build those vehicles in a year, but it will take some time to get production going and get a plan fully funded to accomplish.
Right. So I mean, I think if everything goes as planned, you're looking at 2-3 years before we even finish building what's currently in the order books.
That. We've raised about $120 million so far, more than $100 million in just the crowdfunding. We built 5 prototypes over the last couple years.
Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about the funding situation. Back in December of 2022, they had raised 80 million. So they've gone from 80 million to 120 million in a year and a half. That is an incredible amount of fundraising. That's a really good job. And that's mostly on the back of the accelerator program, which has been very successful for Aptera. So I think that the accelerator program started, about a year ago, and this number represents. I think the accelerator program has raised like 36 million, something like that, and so that accounts for almost all of the change from 80 million to 120 million. So that's been that's been a very successful program for them.
All those are drivable. They've been used in different ways and for different things. We had beta as an ever-evolving platform for suspension testing and stuff. It's actually now over in Italy. It hasn't come back from the last suspension calibration and testing that we did over there. But other vehicles that really showed the vision for solar mobility and helped us evolve our design into a production design that we're building right now.
Okay, so let's go over the 5 prototypes. Remember, there was 3 alpha prototypes. There was Noir, Sol, and Luna. So those are the 3, and Luna being the most kind of put together alpha prototype. Then they had the beta, which was basically not aesthetically pleasing, but was very important for their suspension work and driving dynamics and all that stuff. And then there was Gamma, which is the most aesthetic, the prettiest prototype they've had. And Gamma is the one that's been kind of making the rounds for the past year or so. And then there's 3 PI builds on the way, and it seems like they are still planning on 16 PI builds. I thought that they maybe would have backed off on that a little bit as like the timeline slips a little bit to kind of try to speed things up, but they are still planning on 16 PI builds, so that's good. Let's talk about
suppliers and government partnership. It's been amazing to get support from the California Energy Commission. It's paying for a lot of the equipment behind me. We have a lot of things on order to build out our solar and battery line. And that's because of this wonderful grant that we got from the California Energy Commission. We also have our bill of materials well sorted. We'll go through a slide that talks about that. And we're looking forward to taking.
Okay, so remember, just a reminder for everyone, this $21 million California Energy Commission grant is a matching grant. They have to spend money to get money. It's not like they don't get a grant. They don't just get money from California. California is basically saying, hey, you guys spend money to start, getting your manufacturing stuff, and we'll pay you back that money. So it becomes kind of free money. They essentially can buy stuff for free. They get refunded by the California state government on certain supplies. So I think the Red Viking thing was some of that, and obviously some solar stuff, and some other things are going to be in that. So, but they have to find money first to buy the stuff, and then they unlock that money and they get it back to them.
In the company public. We think that as we get closer to production and we start to deliver vehicles, it would be a great time to go public, and we'll go through why that's the case later in this presentation. And we have an amazing.
Okay, so they're saying they file with SEC. That's true. We've been reviewing their SEC filings on this channel. They are semi-public because there's crowdfunding, and you can look at their SEC filings. PCAOB audited. I did not know what that means, so I looked it up. It stands for this Public Company Accounting Oversight Board. This is a product of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, and that basically this is something that public companies have to do, and Aptera is already doing it, so that's good. They have an integrated ERP and MES system. Remember we did a video on that a little while ago. Nick Rocco was I don't know if he's still with Aptera, but he was kind of in charge of the manufacturing side and setting up these kinds of systems. MES stands for Manufacturing Execution System, and ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Projection. Let me look it up. Hold on. Enterprise Resource Planning. Sorry, Enterprise Resource Planning. So what this does is the whole business enterprise can be like looked at under ERP. MES focuses on the manufacturing operations like managing the supply chain, inventory, how things are moving through the different stations, that kind of stuff. And so you can virtually run the assembly line using the MES system, and you can virtually run the company during production using the ERP system. And that helps them kind of see bottlenecks ahead of time, and then when they're actually doing it, these systems help run the thing. So they're both kind of a simulation and a execution system. So they have these systems online. I think this is largely a product of the collaboration with Sandy Monroe, but this is hopefully they're hoping that the things that they've done in simulation will help their production go smoothly, which it should. And then they're talking about their patents.
Patent portfolio. Our engineers have created some amazing technologies. We've gone through the effort to patent a lot of that. We have 30 patents pending and 4 awarded. It takes forever to get patents through the patent office, sometimes 2 or 3 years. But we did start this process pretty early, and we are starting to show some fruit from that effort. But we did have an independent valuation of our IP portfolio, and it came back being a very, very valuable piece of Aptera.
Okay, so they're saying that they were independently valuated their patent portfolio as 100 million, and they're using that potentially as collateral for debt financing to get into production. So that's going to be an important thing. We talked about their recent solar patent that was denied. They can always reapply for it, but they've had 4 awarded. There was a solar patent that was awarded a year ago. That was an important one on the process, and they are having 30 more that are pending. A lot of these are design patents, some of them are process patents, some of them are product patents, but there is a significant portfolio, and evidently some independent company has looked over it and decided that it is valuable, and banks are looking at it and saying, hey, yeah, that's valuable enough that we feel like you can use that as collateral for debt finance for us. So that's a good thing. I just kind of want to circle back. Someone asked in the comments below, have views on my channel gone down? And yes, they have. So I think that kind of ties back into the leveling off of the reservations. I'm guessing if Aptera looks at their channel and their engagement, they're going to see kind of a drop off too. I want to show you my analytics. So this is the analytics for views since the inception of this YouTube channel. I started this back in 2021, and you see here 2022 was a very big year for Aptera. There was a lot of excitement, a lot of engagement. And then you see here's we start 2023, and 2023 there's a little bit less than 2022. And then just look at the height of these peaks and the area under the curve here. You see 2024. So 2022 is big. 2023 is like this. 2024 there is this big spike because there was a lot of activity early on in the year. And late last year there was some recaps and stuff, so a lot of excitement there. But you can see that this is definitely lower than this on average. So there's been kind of a steady drop off year by year in the views of this channel, and I think it is representative because I have no delusion that this channel is succeeding the way it has because I'm so charismatic or good at this. It's mainly because Aptera is a very, very compelling idea and people are into it. And I happen to be a big fan. So I make content and a bunch of you guys are also into it. But I think there is some fatigue and people are like, hey, I don't, are wondering if this is going to happen. And there's just kind of been some fall off in interest. And so I think, as I told, as I talked to Chris Anthony the last time I interviewed him, I think it's very, very important for Aptera to get a PI vehicle made as soon as possible, start validating their claims of efficiency and reliability, and get into production because the next year it's going to fall off even more if there isn't significant progress. And so I think it is very important. Like if there has not been a delivery by the end of 2025, I think that's going to be a pretty bad sign for them. So it is kind of crunch time for them, I think, and they really need to execute this next year and reach some milestones pretty quickly and show that production is coming because I think there is this waning of interest over time. And the idea, I think everyone loves the idea, and there is a huge, huge fan base for this, as you can tell by the crowdfunding and their social media platforms have a lot of engagement. Me as a guy that never did YouTube before, this is a relatively successful channel, and that's not because of me. It's because of Aptera. It's because that idea is very compelling, and so that is going to be. I think this is all wonderful, and there is a lot of reason for optimism. But I think it is crunch time, and they do need to execute, and they need to get to production and confirm and validate and confirm some of their efficiency and reliability claims in the next several months, at least. All right. Well, tell me what you guys think so far. We're going to go through this slide by slide, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching.